The offense that a lot of people will say comes to mind, and there's two of them really, when you think about the Browns, would be the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan's. Also the Titans, when you think about Derrick Henry. I would say the main difference between those two offenses and the Browns is the wide receiving core. The Browns' wide receiving core, it wasn't good. It underachieved. I mean, there is a significant marked difference between the guys that the 49ers are playing at wide receiver in that system and the guys the Titans are playing at wide receiver and the Browns. So let me ask you this. Do you think they completely need to remake that wide receiver room?
I would say, yeah. Outside of, bring back Jarvis Landry for, the way that he has that leadership in the locker room. I think that that's the one that I would keep around. Obviously, you have Donovan Peoples-Jones. You have Anthony Schwartz. Schwartz is a third-round pick, but you also have to realize that, he didn't have as much utilization at Auburn, so he's still pretty raw. So he's going to take some time, but at the same time, Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's talented. That's what everybody said coming out of Michigan, but it was just that he wasn't utilized correctly when he was there. I think that he needs a little bit of time, and you can't thrust him into being that wide receiver one immediately. Again, I look at somebody like a Treylon Burks out of Arkansas that I am a massive fan of his coming out of college. And, I think that he could be somebody who is a great target for them as well and can be utilized in multiple ways. Again, I look at some guys in free agency possibly. It's not just having the top of the line guys, but I do think that they need that wide receiver one. The other thing, too, is having the other receivers in that receiving room and having the right roles being able to be filled out. Because, again, you had somebody like Hollywood Higgins this year who played well in times, in spaces, but at the same time struggled when it came to separating. And that's where I have the biggest issue so far this year is, finding that separation and finding those receivers that are not only able to, create separation and create space, but also are able to bring in the passes. Because I also look at Buffalo, for instance. Again, you have Josh Allen who, again, has tremendously improved. But you got to give Brandon Beane credit because every one of those receivers that they brought in, you have Gabriel Davis, who is somebody who can be a red zone threat, but especially, Stephon Diggs, it wasn't just the fact that he was a superstar receiver. It's also the fact that he's one of the best route runners in the NFL, and he's able to get open, and he's able to be sure-handed with the ball. Cole Beasley, for as much as you want to debate on it with the off-the-field stuff, but you also have him who's, a great route runner, who's able to get open, who's able to find spaces in the defense and able to haul in those passes and move the chains and do well in space. So, it's about the rest of the receiving core that you're putting around your quarterback. And again, basically building around your quarterback at that point. And that's where I feel like the receiving room, it's been a work in progress, but by no means has it been perfect to this point.